Добрый день, здравствуйте, это Песков. Как меня слышно?
Good afternoon, this is Peskov. How can you hear me?
Всем еще раз
Good
привет.
afternoon, I can hear you well. Excellent.
Вторник.
Hello again.
Президент
March 31st, Tuesday. The President continues to work.
в Новоогарево.
Today he is working in Novogorjevo.
Он проведет
Today he will hold a video conference of communications and will take part in the opening ceremony of a number of objects of our transport complex, transport industry.
транспортного комплекса, транспортной отрасли.
Somewhere a large new hydropower plant will be opened.
Новый гидроузел.
Somewhere a new airport building will be opened. A high-speed highway will be launched in some region.
регионе будет
Unmanned traffic will be launched in some region along the highway.
регионе будет записан
In general,
беспилотный
the development of the transport industry will be assessed by Vitaly Savilev,
в целом
the Deputy Prime Minister of the government, who is in charge of this area. And of course, there will be the introductory word of the President. Therefore, today, the transport complex will be marked with the opening of a number of new facilities.
Сегодня транспортный комплекс, собственно,
Good news.
отмечен открытием.
You know that President Putin has already held a telephone conversation with the President of Egypt, Assisi.
Путин провел
There was a substantive conversation.
Египта Ассиси. Был содержательный разговор.
The main topic for the communication of the two heads of state is quite clear.
Государств. Вполне понятно.
The events in the Middle East,
Востоке
the consequences of these events in terms of global destabilization of the situation, and what can be done to facilitate a transition to peaceful settlement.
мирные рельсы урегулирования.
We expect that in the second half of the day, or rather closer to the evening,
К вечеру
Vladimir Putin may hold another international telephone conversation.
разговор, если это произойдет, мы вас обязательно проинформируем.
If this happens, we will definitely inform you.
Который также включен.
As for today's schedule of the President,
Правда, будут
it also includes other meetings which, however, will no longer be public.
Добрый день. Позволите, Стас, пожалуйста?
Да, пожалуйста.
What questions do you have? I have a question.
Спросить про
Good afternoon, may I?
дронов,
Yes, please.
как он подвергается
Thank you very much.
в России, а дроны летят со стороны Прибалтики. И вот СМИ анализируют
We would like to ask about the next strikes by Ukrainian drones. Now attacks are being made, including in the northwest of Russia, and drones are flying into the Baltic countries. Now the media and analysts are discussing that EU countries have given Kyiv their airspace for these attacks on Russia. How does the Kremlin view this, and how will this affect prospects for normalization of the situation?
Обяжет нас
Of course,
соответствующие
we believe that if this is indeed the case, providing airspace to carry out hostile terrorist activities against the Russian Federation,
ее тщательно,
then this will force us to draw appropriate conclusions and take appropriate measures.
которые потом рассматриваются.
Спасибо большое.
Есть ли еще вопросы?
However, this is not the main focus of the Kremlin. The main issue is how our military analyzes the situation. They carefully monitor it, analyze it, and make appropriate proposals, which are then considered. Thank you very much. Any other questions? May I? Yes, please. Thank you very much. Yesterday, Zelensky spoke with a proposal for an Easter truce, and also said that Western partners are suggesting it would be good if Ukraine stopped striking Russia's energy infrastructure. He said Ukraine would be ready to do this if Russia stopped striking Ukraine's energy infrastructure.
Инициативы.
How does the Kremlin assess the prospects of an Easter truce
Как всегда говорится,
and a mutual cessation of strikes on energy infrastructure? We did not see any clearly formulated initiatives on the Easter truce in Zelensky's statements.
мы еще
As always, he spoke of readiness and a desire to move toward a truce,
на себя
at least an Easter one.
принять соответствующие решения.
We repeat once again that Zelensky must take responsibility and make appropriate decisions so that we reach peace. not just a truce. It is clear that the Kyiv regime desperately needs a truce, any truce, because the dynamics at the front, monitored not only by our specialists but also by foreign ones, indicate that Russian troops are advancing along the entire front line, sometimes faster, sometimes slower. Therefore, Zelensky can and should make a decision in due time. Later, this decision will have to be made at a higher cost. This has been repeatedly stated, including by our president. Thank you very much. And a second question, if I may. The Ust-Luga port has already been attacked 5 times in the past week by drones, and damage has been recorded in previous raids. Is Russia planning to take additional measures to protect one of its leading terminals in the Baltic Sea? Of course, all critical infrastructure important for the Russian transport system is being protected. Measures are being taken. This does not mean these facilities can be 100% protected from such attacks. At the same time, intensive work is being carried out, not only for the port you mentioned, but for all critical infrastructure facilities. Thank you very much. Anything else? Hello, may I ask 2 questions?
Спасибо вам большое.
Еще?
Yes, please. Has there been any feedback from Cuban authorities regarding the arrival of a Russian oil tanker to Cuba? And are there any plans for a telephone conversation between the Russian and Cuban presidents on this matter? At the moment, no such conversation is in the president's schedule. We are in constant contact at the working level with our Cuban colleagues and will continue this dialogue. If necessary, high-level contact can be organized quickly. Thank you. And the second question. The European Court of Human Rights has ruled that Russia must pay EUR 2,000 in compensation to historian Yuri Dmitriev, stating that his trial was not entirely objective. Does this decision have any significance given that Russia is no longer under its jurisdiction? We do not recognize these decisions, so the answer is simple: no, they do not. Thank you very much. Anything else? Thank you all very much. The embargo ends at 1:15 p.m. Have a good working day. Goodbye, good luck.
Поэтому, отвечая на ваш вопрос, я могу ответить лаконично. Нет, не имеют.
Спасибо большое.
Есть ли еще что-то? Окей. Всем большое спасибо. В 13 часов 15 минут эмбарго, 13:15. Всем хорошего рабочего дня. До свидания. Счастливо.